So when Katie came out, when he came out, did as this process has been evolving, like you've working with unique people, and every person's unique, and I think that's what these stories are getting to. I hope as I do this show is that my story is my story, your story is your story, your story is your story. So when she came out, was it that, how has that impacted you for you? I mean, not as far as your relationship with Katie, but I like to think of it as I'm a change agent in the world. That's how I like to look at it. I want people, when they meet me, to question gender. Is any evolution like that happening with you as this process is going on?
Definitely. Well, when Katie came out as gay in high school and was the last one to find out, and that and that whole thing, there was and as long as Katie was a gay girl, was a lesbian, it was something that was still like socially quantifiable. It was very, like mainstream. Like by then, there were plenty of sitcoms. There's a lot that people were introduced to and generally comfortable with, or at least understanding of what that meant. And it was sort of a for me, in some ways, it would be a kind of almost like a badge of honor, or in a means of saying that, like, no, it's when people joke about, like, oh, I've got a black friend, that to qualify their statements or whatever. Like, I have a lesbian sister. I'm a very understanding person. You don't know my background. Like, it's actually a little more diverse than you probably would be safe to assume.
Right.
But getting older, and that's less of a, is like more intelligent and less like, idiotic about how we would treat that information or relationship. But when Katie came out again with the transgender, was something that was, even though Katie did a great job of planting all the seeds and sort of preparing us that there's more to this story, you guys. This isn't this is a the third book is going to be a 2-part movie that that we're gonna like. That when Katie came out with that, it was something else for me to understand in the world of something that wasn't quite as, again, out there, because this was now 5 years ago that Katie made that announcement, and not in the case of her coming out as a lesbian, was like individual sit down, one-on-one, and with the when she came out with the transgender, then it was like all at once, to kind of an announcement to everybody in social media, and wasn't like like, all right, everyone, make sure you get a good night's sleep because there's going to be something to digest tomorrow kind of situation. It was more, here you go, and like, I got it in real time with everybody else, and it was something that it helped me just appreciate that. Then again, there's still a whole lot more to all of the world of sexual identity and sexuality and gender identification that that I still hadn't appreciated, because like, not up until that exact moment, but up until, for the most part, that general time frame, it was still just it was still a very quantifiable, understandable scenario or situation that like made sense in a lot of in the ways that a lot of the society was still pushing what's supposed to make sense, and with that slightly wider berth of acceptance for people who are identifying as gay. So it kind of put it back to square one with an opportunity to just learn that much more, and to consider my own behavior and interactions with other people just that much deeper and that much more intelligently, to appreciate that like, I still don't know that much, like to not know that much about my own sibling.
Right. Well, I mean, everybody's pursuing authenticity, I hope.
Yeah.
That's my goal, or that I think everybody should be. So transition is a permanent thing in my life. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to transition genders again, nothing like that, but I'm going to grow, and I'm going to become a much more rounded person, I hope, as I experience life and I learn more things. Like being transgender, being transfeminine, I'm very binary. When I was raised, boys had these roles, girls had these roles, and I bought into those binary roles. So I knew I wasn't a boy, and I knew girls did these things, so I'm a girl, and I still didn't see that there was any possibility that there was something to go from here to hear, or that there was even something on the other side and above it and below it and behind it and in front of it. Because what is there, 6 billion people on the planet now?
6 or 7, yeah, right.
That's how many
It's 6
genders there
yesterday,
are.
it's 7 today.
I really believe that's how many genders there are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I were to go to each person and say, what does it mean to be you with your gender? I would get, I imagine, 6 billion different answers, or 7 billion, 8 billion now, however many it's growing at.
Yeah.
Right on.
And exactly. So for me to have, I'm learning. Just like everybody else, I'm learning this because I was so wrapped up in learning what it meant to be me. I have a grasp of what it means to be me now. And that's given me the opportunity to now go learn what it means to be somebody else.